Welcome back, myself Shreyas, and today we are going to learn about how to design a kind of any control box or a control panel box. But before discussion of that, we have to look out these slides, which is very much important to recognize about the calculations that we needed for the design of any control panel or the important rules and regulation regarding to the design of this control panel box. So first important rule is that all components must be located separately on the different sections inside the room, or we can say a panel sections or a system. All the wires must be in a different color coding so that we can properly help to connect them with the proper contactors only with a proper ducting. All the process of wire ducting and component separation supported under a black plate. These are nothing but the plate completely separated from the electric system and our mechanical systems, or we can say an insulation system. So the block plates allowed to do a fabrication, separation, contact connection, or we can say a wire ducting the panel components. So all these are the applications for which this panel should be consist with all these things in design consideration. So separate electric enclosure must be also located or provided as a protection for all the component in any operators within that area. It's possible to do the monitorization, modification in the whole electric enclosure system also. One common modification we can say is an HMI, known as human machine interference. This allows to view and manipulate the data which being sent or received by the PLC. Now, rule number 3 is the most important crucial rule that all the input and output cables or the wires should be grounded with help of double shielded twisted flexible wires, which is used to avoid any insulation failure problem inside the control panel when its life is going to be considered in years or in 10 to 15 years. At that time it should be properly labeled with ISO cabling systems, and it should be properly under the rules and regulations followed by the ISO standards while dealing with the cable connectivities. Now the fourth important rule is regarding to a digital input output cable connectivity. The wires all must be strips of very low voltage cables. Means a digital cables are always a very low digitalized or a low insulation system cables. So they should be very flexible, easy to carry out their digital connectivity from the input output of the PLC and to connect it with the actuators or a relays and output devices, and through which they are going to operate with the high voltage cable systems. So most type of these digital cables are MTW or THN, which are the classes which are required to be taken into point of consideration as per the ISO standard for sending and receiving the data throughout the digital systems. Now we are going to talk how this PLC is going to operate the output devices. It simply consists with the cable with two connecting wire. One wire going from the cable is to the output devices and going to provide a signal that is nothing but the control signal through which you are going to perform a certain task. And also there is a second wire coming from the output devices in terms of feedback to the PLC, and this cable should be properly shielded as per we have discussed which kind of materials we required and which type of insulation we required. Mostly they will be XLPE, cross-link polyethylene cable, and they should be grounded properly so that we can protect the system under any major severe damages. And the system should be consist with the relay, which is nothing but a one type of electromagnetic switching device, and it is mostly provided with low voltage at the input primary side of the winding, and then it get energized the coil. It causes the contactors or the plunger to move, and by the electromagnetic law of induction it operates and cause the high voltage power application systems to get on and off through the PLC itself by throughout that digital input output signals that we have provided. So hence all this is the things we have to be taken into point of consideration. Now let's move to the CATIA software and discuss how these things have to be designed in the CATIA.